All right, guys, we're up here at TKM Performance, the one and only machine shop engine builder for the LS Nasty Racing program. Excited about our new... I haven't talked about our new purchase yet. You know about it. Are you excited about it?
I'm very excited.
Yeah. Are you excited about it?
Driving.
You don't hold the wheel?
If you wrap it red and put the chrome trim on like my car, I'll drive it.
Okay. All right.
Then we need a photo shoot with both of them.
With both of them? You won't be able to tell them apart. Right. Literally won't be able to tell them apart.
I don't know which one to drive home.
All right, so I'm up here today with the engine block and crankshaft out of the Bad Apple. Had some...
rotten apple now.
Is it the rotten apple? Yeah. Yeah, we've had some issues with it.
We're gonna make it right, dude.
So this is, I guess, one of the
make it right. Make the apple right.
Oh, you guys are getting good at this whole YouTube thing. So we had an issue here. Would you say it's a common issue? You dyno a car, new setup, everything's not gonna be perfect. You got to figure it out. We had some major converter setup issues.
Yeah. If the converter ain't right, obviously it'll knock the thrust slap out of it. And I don't know why. Well, I got theories, but small block Ford does seem to be the absolute worst engine in the world as far as knocking thrust out of it.
You have to have everything set up and spaced perfectly, and then you have to have the correct converter charge pressure. That's where we had an issue. So essentially the converter charge pressure was so high, it was trying to shove the converter like literally through the motor, and that was really just pushing on the crank. And we knew here when we left the dyno, things were not in the best of shape. We couldn't really spool it up all that good. We actually measured the thrust, and it was, I think, like 17 or 18 thou, which is not ideal.
No, about 10, 12 thousandths too much.
Yeah, so...
We typically shoot for around 7 thousandths.
It was a slippery slope. Once it's hurt, it's not getting better. It's like your ACL. You can't heal your ACL.
Maybe you could have put thicker oil in it.
Thick?
Some Lucas oil additive or something?
Sometimes nitrous will clear anything up.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah. So we ran it for, I think, maybe like 7 passes, and then...
That race, yeah, the Thunder Valley.
Yep, ran the Thunder Valley race. We monitored it. We saw a weird issue where it just kept having sparks come from underneath the car. I thought that it was the converter bolts, but it wasn't. It was actually the flex plate was just sliding forward, I guess because there's that additional room, and I'm sure it was pissed after being bent once before. And it was hitting the block and the starter, well, mainly the starter, making some sparks, sounded like hell. Took it to a test and tune night, about stuck it in the wall, and went like a smooth 470 lifting way early, and then it lost like oil pressure. Didn't lose oil pressure, but it went from like making its average, 75, 80 at idle to 40.
Well, luckily, it looks like the bearing, I mean, it got the crank a little bit, but it looks like the bearing took all the abuse.
Yep.
The bearing, because the block, just a little bit of heat. So
a lot of times it'll just trash the crank.
Oh yeah, it'll trash the crank and trash the block, and then this is just blacker than my soul. But I don't think this would be bad at all to fix.
So for everyone at home that doesn't understand what the thrust bearing does, real quick, what's the purpose of a thrust bearing?
Locates the crankshaft.
Where? Front to back, up to down, left to right?
Front to back.
All the way above.
Front to back. So the thrust bearing, would you say it's one of the most important bearings? I mean, they're all important, but that one goes...
Well, that's the only thing locating your crank from going front to back.
Okay. So when that goes out, obviously the crank is trying to come out the front of
the converter, something's got to push on the crank to do this. The converter, when the converter under power, shoving everything forward, and the thrust bearing has to take all the load. Well, that's where we come in and doing the roller thrust. And what we're going to actually do is put a roller bearing up here, and it'll be machine the block. We'll machine the block to assess the other side of it up front. So therefore, the load will be shared between this factory bearing. Yep, it'll be shared between the factory bearing and then our roller bearing we're gonna put up here.
Awesome. So that's kind of like insurance. And the Black Sheep engine has the roller thrust bearing. Had 0 issues out of that, and it was kind of the same thing. We pulled the crank out because we thought we were having some issues with the thrust, and then we decided when it was out to upgrade it. It's one of the many different machine solutions that you guys offer up here, which is, I think, absolutely amazing. So we'll stick that in there. Still important to get your converter right. This is not a band-aid for if the converter charge pressure is wrong or anything like that. The spacing could be wrong, and you guys know I'm not good with a dial indicator or anything. It's
You're
like
more with a tape measure guy. Right?
Yeah, it's very. Well, actually, I use a yardstick. So imagine trying to set a converter spacing with a yardstick.
And you'll stop just in time because it really didn't chew up the crank or the block. So
yeah, it was kind of one of those things where I was concerned that the crank would be damaged, and then
and then trying to get a crank right now is.
Yeah. So we made the executive decision to pull it apart, and the cylinders need a little bit of love too.
Cornbread's gonna fix them up.
Yeah, I can get you home.
I didn't realize. I guess my storing procedure was not ideal.
Yep. So anytime you fire it up, really with alcohol, you let it get some heat, let everything warm up. A lot of people just fire it up, back it out, move it over, you know, and it's really hard on the cylinders.
How would you say those cylinders look, just like visually?
Terrible.
They don't look good.
No.
What about that bottom one?
It looks terrible. You know, y'all, this motor was fresh from us, didn't have much time at all, but
It had a lot of.
moisture. It did set for maybe 2 years before y'all got it. The guy never ran it that we originally built it for.
Yep.
So that's bad on it too. I mean, just to have a motor built and let it sit there, your valve springs, your rings, everything, is really terrible.
It's a badass motor. I mean,
It's a killer motor.
it's make plenty of power.
Yeah, I mean, it's killer. So shouldn't be much work to fix this up, and then Kevin will do your roller on it, and we'll fix this hone up.
good to
I
go.
would suggest rings. Put rings in it, just pop the hone.
Yeah, you know the rings, they're like packed with rust, but I'm hell with brake clean.
No.
I'm telling you, I already tested one before I came up
Let's
here.
get the hone and put new rings.
You want to put new rings in it? We could do that. Before I came up here, I took a piston, popped the rings off, brake cleaned them up. I'm like, we're good.
Well, and a lot of that could have came from where it just set, and then y'all initially fired it up and it just packed it all in the
Yeah.
rings. That's why, you know, these people's motors that we built and they just sit here, it's terrible.
Is this a plug for, oh my God, I didn't realize how many there were.
Some of that too.
You have to say anything to the
It's
people who need to
bad.
come get their motor?
Get your shit.
Come get your shit. I have been whipped months to get this shit ready, and here it is.
God, how many, what is this? You guys got to have like 30 or 40s just sitting here.
Well, I mean, they got names on them. People need to come.
At what point do you kind of,
2022, do we need to show names or what?
at what point do you open the door and open up a sale?
Next weekend.
Next weekend, that's it? God, you're gonna have a busy week.
Yeah, we ready. But I mean, a lot of that could have came from, you know, it just sitting and then you fired it up.
Yep.
It's not good for a motor to sit for a couple of years once it's done. You know.
Well, I'm in good hands here. You guys offer a bunch of different solutions as far as machine work. This is one, we said it's pretty common. You guys do this a lot, the roller thrust?
A lot of higher horsepower stuff, especially.
And we've even done a couple of the 8.2s, 8.2 deck. You know.
So definitely recommend it. I already got it on my motor. This is gonna be on Chris's motor. It's insurance. When you guys come up here, get all your machine work and everything done. I guess mark this down as an option.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, one-stop shop. It wouldn't be a normal stop here at Performance Automotive here in Pittsboro, North Carolina, without saying hello to Jason. Hey, fellow pro mod guy.
Pro mod nasty.
Oh,
you see?
hold on, wait. I didn't even. This isn't the video.
Oh.
Was it? Now they know.
Okay.
They know, but they don't know what. They just know.
I'm pro mod nasty.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. What have you been up to?
Nothing.
You getting ready to race?
Yeah, got 3 weeks.
Where are you going?
A lot. PDRA. We're going.
Oh.
And we're going to test next week in Virginia. Got a couple cars tuning and driving this year. Just
Yeah.
different stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, anything out of the LS Nasty camp?
Depends on if you get something finished for me.
Yeah, you gonna drive something?
Oh, yeah.
You ready to hold the wheel? What do you think you're gonna go for first?
I'm going to. I want to try the bad apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I barely fit in that thing.
Oh, God.
Remember when you drove Brown Sugar? It's literally gonna be the same thing where you're just crammed in that.
There's no way.
Yeah.
If you can barely fit it, I don't know. Width-wise, I'm probably okay because you're a little heavier.
Stop. What did I tell my age? Hold on. I'm gonna give you guys comment down below how old you guys think I am. Okay, I'm gonna take my hat off here. All right. Now you gotta comment, guess my age, and then guess Jason's. How old do you say I look?
How old you look?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say how old you look because I want them to get. But look.
Yeah,
It's
wait,
him
hold
there.
on.
It's
That's from the G forces.
Yeah,
it pulled your hairline back.
Yeah. Bald, beautiful, baby.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So what do you got in the box there?
Little Holly project.
Who got you that stuff?
My man at Holly,
Wow.
LS Nasty.
The disrespect.
John. It only took me like 2 months, but it wasn't your fault. Holly had it on back order.
I hand delivered it.
You did hand deliver it, which is nice. I appreciate it.
Full service around here.
Going in a C10, just a daily driver.
How satisfied do you feel when I leave here?
Oh, I feel like I've seen a friend and been anally raped at the same time.
I don't know if I could keep
cut that out.
I don't know. I might leave it in there and just beep it so they can just guess what you say.
Yeah.
Jason and I, we're on this, what are we in, like year 4 or 5?
I don't know, longer than that.
Yeah, of just going back and forth, buying things. Like, I'm like, hey, can you get me this? And he's like, yeah, and then I never pay him. And then he's like, hey, can you get me this? I'm like, yeah, and I never pay him. And we've probably gone through like $10,000 or $15,000
Easy.
doing this, just back
We're
and forth.
even now.
Are we?
This is dead even.
We're
back
even.
to square one.
Oh God, that means I might actually have to pay next time I need something.
Me too. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
it's
scared of.
gonna be tough.
Yeah, remember, because there was like injectors and then tires and then
A whole engine.
you're like, oh, you got an LS motor plate? Yes, I do have an LS motor plate. Come get it.
I forgot about that. There's
What
so
about
many
this-
stuff.
What about this? The gosh, we call it the crossbar, the tranny
For the S10?
S10,
They got that?
Who had that?
Remember when you dropped your whole car off at the shop? When I put like different injectors, different
Hoses.
fuel filters,
Yep.
and then all that stuff. And then we took it out to the track and it still didn't run right.
Because it was trying to run on water.
Yeah. You had a head gasket that whole time.
Yeah, I did.
So it's good times.
Yeah,
Good
it was.
times.
We've had good times. It started with a LS motor that you verbally and physically abused me selling.
This goes way back. If you guys are longtime followers of the channel, that goes way back to the Salty Chicken's original motor. You didn't even need it. I think you just felt bad
No,
for
I
me.
had it sold. I had a guy who, actually a guy had a C10 that wanted to do a swap. John had this whole motor tranny combination swap out.
Which dumped all the fluid over my trailer on my way down here.
Absolutely, but we talked and, you know, it was the same old thing. And then I paid way too much for it. I don't think I paid like $1,200
Yeah,
for
you
a
did.
stock LS1 and an M4L60.
Yeah, you
know? Ridiculous. So the guy stiffs me on it, never buys it. So then I'm stuck with it.
I honestly, I felt bad for like a second.
No, you didn't.
I did. I felt a little bit bad.
Later on, you felt bad. But then, let's see, what else? We've had a bunch of stuff back and forth.
Yeah. No, it's been.
I bought injectors from you and Holley stuff, and you bought motor plates and motors. And
That's what friends are for, though, right? You know.
we can literally not talk for 6 months and catch up right where we were at.
Yeah.
Because you're busy and I'm busy.
Yeah. I come down here and I need a set of tires or. This is where
I need some tires. Can you leave them out the front door? I'm gonna come by and pick them up. Sure.
Or I'm like, hey, I'm coming down tomorrow to mount these wheels because I couldn't mount the. Remember, I couldn't mount the tires at my shop.
Tire slam.
Yep, that's it right there. So, all right, well, hey.
Yeah, and I made it look like super easy, and you were like, God.
Yeah, dude, that's part of it. I'm getting good now, though. I'm getting good. So,
LS Nasty page.
yep.
I hadn't been on the videos in a long time.
I had to. I couldn't not film you. People are probably going nuts in the comment, like, man, all they're doing is talking. But this is classic, like OG LS Nasty. If you don't know who this is, are you the two-time? Two-time. Kind of like Dr. Disrespect. But you're the Dr. Disrespect of drag racing. The two-time
Pro Nitrous.
Pro Nitrous World Champion, Jason Harris.
I'm the pro mod side. See, you guys never follow that much because it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I go really fast, and you guys go really slow and get more notoriety than I do.
Yeah. Well, you were down at Snowbirds. That was rough. That was rough at Snowbirds.
God, it was terrible. Bad weekend.
Snowbirds was rough.
Yeah.
But that's part of the racing.
It is.
We've had plenty of those. More to come.
No. Good from here on out.
All right. So you're running Big Dog this year?
Big Dog, Pro Nitrous, and then whatever LS Nasty Camp has available and running at the time.
This is the year where we're gonna
I still
get.
got my truck.
And you got your truck, so doing some no prep stuff.
I still have Money Shot. It's still sitting there.
Oh, dude, we got a 632 for you. Remember that? We bought the 632 off Jason.
Yeah.
You guys remember the 632 sitting in the shop, still looking for a chassis for that?
Well, I had the chassis and I sold you the motor.
What's the chassis?
Money Shot.
It is stock suspension. That is
9-inch
the
in it
chassis.
already. Cage. Front. It's got Rock Solid Motorsports front end on it already.
Yeah. This might be. We might have to talk about this further.
Why don't you put it in the Colorado?
Twin turbo big block, dude. Twin 94s.
I have a turbo truck, and I do like my turbo truck. I had a Pro Charge car. I run Pro Boost. My heart's still in nitrous.
Oh my God. We can't get you out of it. We'll get you in a proper. I mean, your Proline. What was it? It was a Proline Hemi.
Yeah.
Pro Boost car was proper, but our proper radial small tire local stuff, we'll get you right. You'll
I got
like
the
it.
mini black sheep. Ron Burgundy the truck. So yeah.
You got names and everything.
I do. I'm like you. You have T-shirts for cars you don't even have.
I'm ending this. This is so disrespectful.